Thank you so much for coming today. It's a very special occasion for the unveiling of the 11th Sheffield Home of Football Blue Plaque. Every single one of these blue plaques has been special, but this is particularly special because Gordon Banks was the only 1966 World Cup medalist to come from Sheffield. He was born in this street, Arthur Road in Abbeydale in Sheffield. And we're absolutely pleased today to welcome our special guests for this unveiling. Please welcome the Lord Mayor, the first citizen of Sheffield, Councillor Saeed. And nice also to welcome the Right Honourable David Blunkett. I was going to say the Right Honourable Sheffield Wednesday supporter, long suffering like the rest of us. David Blunkett, the former Home Secretary, of course, lifelong Sheffield Wednesday fan, so thank you very much indeed. And we're especially pleased to welcome today members of Gordon Banks' family. Now, I can't remember them all, so I've made a little list. We've got Nick Banks, who is Gordon's nephew, Steve Banks, who is Gordon's nephew, Richard Banks, who is Gordon's cousin, Gordon's nephew. We have got Rob Banks, who is Gordon's son, and we've got Julia, who is Gordon's Wendy and Julia, who are his daughters, and Jane, who is his cousin. So amazing turnout from the Banks family today. Lovely to see you. Although Gordon was born in Sheffield, he played for Leicester City and Chesterfield FC and other teams. It's lovely to see John Croot, the former chairman of Chesterfield Football Club, here today as well. Thank you, John. And these plaques, as we picked up speed and gained momentum and people have become aware, Sheffield Home of Football has two principal aims: to create a unique programme of education around Sheffield's unique footballing history as the place with the oldest football club in the world and the oldest football ground in the world, but also the two oldest trophies, not the FA Cup, the UDAN Cup is the oldest trophy, the second oldest trophy in the world is the Cromwell Cup, which sits in ex-Mr Chancery's boardroom. I hope it's still there. I hope he's not snuffing it out in a duffel bag that he's made his way out of Hillsborough. But that's the Cromwell Cup and the UDAN Cup, the world's two oldest trophies, still in Sheffield as well. And I'm pleased to say that without the backing of supporters and sponsors, these blue plaques would not happen. And a particular thank you today goes to, for sponsoring this plaque, which we're going to unveil shortly, to Mike Firth from Heron Publications. Mike and Helen Firth sponsored this plaque today. Thank you so much. And I'd like to thank particularly Jameson's Tea Rooms, because apparently this wall is not straight. So trying to put something straight on a wall that's not straight, you'll all know that the problem's there. So our colleague John Stocks, who is here with us today, where is John? Where's John gone? Just come forward, John. John's just going to say a few words about Gordon Banks. John's an author, historian, one of our trustees of Sheffield Home of Football. John.
Thank you. Safe as the banks of England. I think that kind of sums up how we felt about Gordon. When Gordon was in goal for our country, we felt secure, we felt safe. When poor old Peter Bonetti had to come in at the last minute, we knew we were in trouble. But he was an absolute inspiration to the entire country. And he was also a wonderful human being. If you had the pleasure to hear Gordon Banks speak, then he was articulate, he was incredibly funny, he told a superb anecdote, and he was a great improviser as well. In Mike's fine article in is it Around Town? Activate magazine, there's a lovely story about Michael Jones and Mick Jones, another great Sheffield character, and Mick Jones running towards the goal, and routinely Gordon is charging out towards him. Mick drops his shoulder, he's just going to round him like he's done hundreds of times, and slip the ball into the back of the net. when suddenly Gordon starts scampering backwards, confusing him completely. No idea what to expect. Every other goalkeeper runs out, you slip it past him, you round it, and you put the ball in the net. But Gordon was different. He did things differently. He lived on his instincts. So he made amazing saves from nowhere because, you know, he'd be relaxed, he'd be chilled, and then suddenly he sprung into life. His remarkable strength he always attributed to lifting coal bags onto lorries in his youth, and that was what gave him the incredible upper body strength that made him such a magnificent athlete. A true working class hero, a man of the people, and one of the greatest ever personalities to grace the city of Sheffield. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, Lord Mayor Steve, John, Banks family, and thank you to Tony and Elizabeth Currie for coming as well, because Tony and Elizabeth turn up at all kinds of events and it's really appreciated. And it's just a pity, Tony, that the two Sheffield professional clubs are in such a terrible mess. Actually I was thinking what we could do is to collect all the old players together and see if they could do better. It's intriguing. We've got a full team with the 11 plaques, haven't we? Which is just about all we've got down at Hillsborough at the moment. But they're doing their best as best they can. Look, this is a terrific effort by all those who have worked so hard over recent years to commemorate, to rejoice in, to remember, and to celebrate the lives of those who have given so much and who are great Sheffielders. I mean, we lost Gordon to Leicester, we lost Jamie Vardy to Leicester. I've been counting up how many ex-Sheffield United and Sheffield Wednesday players are now in clubs that are defeating us, and it's really quite depressing. But there we go, we can only go up. There was a slogan in the late 90s, I hated the blasted song, but it was things can only get better. And on every front, things can only get better. So thank you for inviting us. Thank you to everyone who's put such a massive effort in to make this possible. And even though my dad was called Arthur, I think we probably need to get the street name changed to Bank Street, not to Arthur Street. So let's go for it. And thank you to everybody again for being here this morning. Thank you.
I did forget to mention Tony Currie at the beginning, the legend that's Tony Currie from Sheffield United. And also Councillor Shaffaq Mohammed, who is the leader of the Liberal Democrats, whose ward this sits in. Rob Banks is Gordon's son, so please welcome Rob Banks.
Thank you very much for this honour for Dad. Time passes by so quickly. Believe it or not, it'll be 7 years in February since we lost Dad, but he'd be very proud of this. He was a proud Yorkshireman, as I am. I was born in Wickersley Maternity Hospital as he was starting out his career, and Wendy was born in Leicester when he gone to Leicester, and then Julia was born in Stoke. When he went to Stoke, he plotted his career. But it's an absolute lovely honour that Sheffield have bestowed upon him. He was, like I say, a proud Yorkshireman, and thank you to everybody for coming today and making this a special day for all our family.
Thank you very much. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey! We've got a bit of a tradition where in Sheffield Home of Football we point up to the flag. So if you can turn around and point, that would be great. Yeah. Look this way as well as pointing up.
It's quite emotional, to be honest. And here we are on the site of Arthur Road, where I think they spent their very, very early years. I think they were a bit of a family that moved around Sheffield quite a bit, and I think from here they went and spent a lot of time over in Tinsley. And I never really, because I hadn't lived so far from here myself, and I didn't really know that this was the site of their sort of first house. So to have a plaque on the wall, I think it's fantastic, and it's something that Sheffield really needs to shout from the rooftops, is that Sheffield is the home of football. And it's what hopefully stuff like this is going to make that happen a little bit more.
Gordon had a family life and a sort of public life. We know a lot about his public life and his football. What are your fondest memories of your uncle?
Well, being the nephew of Gordon Banks was a double-edged sword, to be perfectly honest. And, when you're at school, being able to say to your mates, yeah, my uncle, plays for England, it kind of gives you a certain cachet of coolness, so you think. Trouble is, then you get to games lessons, and it's right lads, football today, Banks in goal, so it's a freezing cold February day, and you're stuck in the net, and then it's like, all of a sudden it's 10-0 to the opposition, it's Banks out of goal, So you had to kind of make do with that, because I was a hopeless goalie.
What sort of things off pitch and out of the limelight did you get up to with your uncle?
Well, often when we all the family go to Grandma's house at Wickersley in Rotherham, often be games of football in the back garden, with Gordon Banks in goal, So again, it was one of those things where you'd have a kickabout in the back garden, and then the next morning, Monday morning at school, you'd say, "Oh, what you do at the weekend?" Said, "I just stuck 4 past England goalie. That's all, and I'd be like, "Oh, yeah, right, So yeah, that'd be great."
And you've carved a career out of pop music, Nick. You're well known for the drummer of Pulp. Are you a football fan yourself?
Absolutely, yes. Because football was sort of ever present in the family from as long as I can remember. Because it was, it was my dad and my uncles going off to see Gordon. I only ever saw Gordon play once. They took me to see Stoke v Newcastle United at the old Victoria ground in Stoke. I can't remember a lot about it, apart from a really big fight in the crowd below us. That's about my best memory, But yeah, football was ever present, and I remember my grandma going to Mexico for 1970, and that seemed like the most exotic thing you could think. Going to Mexico, and she came back, and Gordon and my grandma had bought me and my brother these Mexican hats to wear, and we put them on, 5, 6 or whatever, and these hats seemed massive. I've still got them, and they're about that big. So yeah.
Nick, it's been great to see you and members of your family here today, and thanks for coming along and supporting us at Sheffield Home of Football.
You're welcome.
I think Gordon encapsulated what we really need in Sheffield, was able to command attention, able to exude confidence, able to inspire people in terms of sport, in terms of a love of football, and of course to be able to celebrate having been born in Sheffield. So we need a lot more of being able to pick out those who have succeeded and use them as role models to get young people to feel if they could do it, we could do it, and to get them to feel that they've got heroes from the past and they can be heroes for the future. So Gordon was an inspiration, and apart from the fact that he didn't play for Sheffield Wednesday and Sheffield United, he was absolutely great goalkeeper, who of course had played for England, who'd inspired others to want to do it.
And what do you think to the blue plaque going up today? It was a surprise to many people to learn that he was actually born here in little old Arthur Road in Abbeydale.
Yes, I think it was even a surprise to me. I knew he was born in Sheffield and very proud of it, but I hadn't realised exactly where. So it's nice to be able to commemorate that, recognise it, and when people see the plaque, they'll be reminded. It will be something as they're shopping or they're coming into the cafe and they say, "Oh, what's that about?" And then they look at the plaque, which is why what you're doing with now 11 commemorations across the city actually does make such a difference, because it's reminding people not simply of the past, but of the glories that were there and will be again.
I'm Robert Banks, known as Bob. and son of Gordon, who's proudly been honoured today.
How do you feel at seeing this blue plaque unveiled to Gordon in his birthplace?
Very proud. I live in Stoke-on-Trent now, and it's a city with a lot of history and a lot of blue plaques, to be honest with you. So to have one, with Dad's name on, very, very proud, and wouldn't want to miss it for the world.
What was he like as a family man, as in his private life? What was Gordon like?
I mean, he was absolutely crackers, sort of sense of humour, and we've all ended up daft as a brush, like him. But it was always, whatever make you happy. He wanted you to be happy, and like I say, it was fun growing up. Obviously, we didn't see a lot of him when he was playing because he was always off and away on his travels. So Mum was busy bringing up the three of us, but obviously we caught up later on.
And what was it like growing up knowing you had a World Cup winning medalist? England won the World Cup in '66. He was a superstar, wasn't he, in this country when they came back?
Well, it was very, obviously we're very proud, but we didn't realise that it would never happen again so far. I mean, touch wood, it will do. Dad honestly thought that the squad in 70 was a better squad. They had a very, very strong squad, but of course we all know what happened in 70, and it's difficult. I mean, obviously we had home advantage in 66. We didn't. They were playing in altitude in Mexico, and that affected things as well. And to be honest with you, even if they'd have got to the final, Brazil looked, I think it's the best side I've ever seen play football.
And it's been absolutely wonderful to see you and members of your family today. You've brought your sisters, your cousins, you've brought nephews. It's amazing, isn't it? How proud are you as a family to see this?
Very proud, quite overwhelmed at the turnout, to be honest with you, the amount of coverage that it's got, and people like Tony Currie coming along and David Blunkett, and it's and the Lady Mayoress. It's been fantastic, and very, very proud indeed. I've taken a few photos myself already.
Yeah, don't be taking the plaque down, will you?
No, that's staying.
It's absolutely amazing, and it should have been up years ago, shouldn't it?
It should indeed.
Yeah.
And you've got some great memories of Gordon, haven't you?
Well, growing up as a Sheffield United fan, I didn't used to like seeing him because I knew it was going to be tough for Mick Jones and so on in the 60s. But then I actually met the man twice. Once was a sporting dinner at the Royal Vic in Sheffield, where amazingly the organisers had seated myself and my father right next to Gordon. So we were sat with him for a couple of hours, and he was telling stories about 1966 and whatever, as if it was the first time he'd shared these tales. He was so enthusiastic. I think partly because he was back in his home backyard, really, in the middle of Sheffield. And it was wonderful listening to all these tales. And then also, the only other time I met him was when I was a journalist in Chesterfield. And when Chesterfield got to the semi-finals of the FA Cup a few years ago, well, many years ago now, I think it was the fifth round, and the FA actually sent the silver trophy to Saltergate, the old Saltergate ground. And they had a press call there with players and the manager, John Duncan, holding the cup. And the FA Cup sponsors that year were Littlewoods. And Littlewoods had arranged for Gordon to come along and have his picture taken. And of course, he used to play for Chesterfield many years before. And so we had all the photos. Then I had a quick chat with Gordon afterwards and asked him what it was like being back at Saltergate. And he said, well, the best part of today is that Littlewoods have paid me more money for this appearance than I got as a bonus from the FA for winning the World Cup.
What made you want to sponsor this plaque, Mike?
Well, I mean, it's just a Sheffield sporting icon, isn't he, Gordon Banks? And when I was a lad and we played football in the schoolyard, you were either Bobby Charlton or Gordon Banks. And so when I mentioned this to you a year or so ago and said, when are you putting the Gordon Banks plaque up? And you invited us to sponsor it, no hesitation at all. And I'm looking forward to seeing many more plaques go up throughout Sheffield. But really, no one can match Gordon, can they?
No, and I think it was you that came up with the research that he was actually born in this road. It was a surprise to many, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, after he'd passed away many years ago now, I wrote an article about Gordon, and I noticed in the obituaries in the national press that some had got him being born at Tinsley, some at Catcliffe, and Darnell, and someone even suggested Stoke-on-Trent, and I thought this needs research in here. So I researched it as much as I could, and it led me to number 15 Arthur Road. Well, it didn't actually, because it doesn't exist anymore. It's somewhere just over the wall here where Arthur Road used to be. And I've looked on old maps of Sheffield, and it was demolished many years ago. And on the site now, I mean, if you put the plaque up there now, no one would see it because it'd been a backyard of some industrial complex, I think. So where it is now, the plaque here, right on Abbeydale Road, is wonderful because everyone walking by will have a nosy at this plaque and remember what a great sportsman Gordon was.
Can you all do me a favour? Can you all that way one step? That's it. That's it. Perfect.
Photographer's OCD.
Yeah.
It makes me really proud to think that, you know, Wendy, and it's great, Wendy's just, his daughter's just said there that, you know, Chesterfield spotted him, which is fantastic, playing on the parks of Sheffield. You know, it's very much sort of feels a story you don't get nowadays. But yeah, he's a real legend at our club, as you'd imagine. And as I walk around the ground on a match day, there are still older guys who remember him playing for us and talk about him. It's great, and it's a real privilege for us to have Gordon in the history of our club.
Tell us about Gordon, you know, his track record at Chesterfield.
Yeah, he came in as a youngster, unknown, came for a trial originally, I can't remember now how long for, but we quickly turned it from a trial to a professional contract for him, and he did great for us, and then obviously moved on as you know, other clubs came in as I guess they do for clubs like ourselves.
How important is it to keep history alive like this, and the legacy and record of significant figures like Gordon Bank?
It's vital. It's something that I'm passionate about. For this area, Sheffield, South Yorkshire, Chesterfield, North Derbyshire, is a real hotbed of soccer history, and I think sometimes we don't quite realise it, and the whole project around the plaques is fantastic. It's really, really important, and only last week we had some Chinese visitors that were just visiting England, called in at the stadium, and they were asking about the heritage of the club and saying how important it is across the world for English football. We've got some great heritage, and things like this remind us of it.
And now sorry, I was about to buzz off. I do apologise.